Call Saul has finally confirmed that its gene timeline is directly connected to Jesse Pinkman's in El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Viewers have known since Better Call Saul Season 1, Episode 1 that the sequences focused on Jimmy McGill, Bob Odenkirk, lying low in Omaha take place after the events of Breaking Bad. The amount of time that's passed between the end of Breaking Bad and the start of Better Call Saul's gene timeline wasn't immediately made clear to audiences. Finally, Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 10 confirmed the exact calendar year when the Better Call Saul gene timeline is set. References to football players, Nebraska's snowfall, and Air Jordan's place the Cinnabon heist in 2010, the same year that Walter White's criminal empire fell apart. In Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 11, Jimmy's phone call with his former secretary Francesca reaffirms exactly where the gene timeline sits in the wider story of Breaking Bad. After informing Francesca about the whereabouts of her promised payout, Jimmy attempts to tease out information about the situation in Albuquerque. He's informed that the authorities are still looking for him and Jesse Pinkman, following the death of Walter White. While Jimmy hides out in Omaha, Francesca reveals that they found Jesse Pinkman's car at the Mexican border, the exact place that Badger planned to leave it in El Camino. Further to the whereabouts of Jess's car, Jimmy aka Gene and Francesca's phone call confirms further details that connect Better Call Saul's gene timeline to El Camino. Aaron Paul as Jesse in El Camino and Bob Odenkirk as Jimmy McGill in Better Call Saul. El Camino began in the immediate aftermath of Walter's one-man assault on the compound in which Jesse was being held. After being freed by a repentant Walter, Jesse lays low and plots his escape from Albuquerque. Walter's assault on Jack's compound takes place on the day of his 52nd birthday, dating the events of Breaking Bad's final episode and the start of El Camino's timeline to September 7, 2010. Jess's planned escape from Albuquerque to Alaska takes place over a few days, charting his recovery from his ordeal at the hands of Todd and Jack to eventually being disappeared by Ed Galbraith. Jimmy McGill's unsatisfying new life as Cinnabon manager, Gene, is presumably running parallel to Jess's eventual escape. However, Gene's return to the ways of Saul Goodman begins just over a month after Jesse arrives in Alaska at the end of El Camino. This is confirmed by the various real-world football games referenced over the course of the mall heist he pulls off with Jeff and Buddy in Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 10. The first real-life game mentioned, where the Nebraska Cornhuskers lost to an unranked Texas team, took place on October 16, 2010, almost 6 weeks after Walter White's death. Gene and Francesca's phone call is dated November 12, roughly 2 months after Badger dumped the El Camino, and Jesse began his new life in Alaska as Mr. Driscoll. By now, the authorities must have given up on finding Jesse in Mexico and are turning their attention back to fugitive lawyer Saul Goodman. This makes the actions of Gene in Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 11's ending even riskier. Not least because his accomplice Jeff knows that Gene is just an alias for Walter White's sought-after fugitive attorney. With the Gene timeline now confirmed to continue past the events of El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, it's surely only a matter of time before Better Call Saul brings the Breaking Bad timeline to an end, perhaps with Saul Goodman's arrest in Omaha.